Hello my dear students, I welcome you all for the lecture 4 on transient heat conduction, wherein we will discuss heat transfer in large plane walls, long cylinders and spheres with a spatial effect, that is where the Biot number is significantly greater and it is greater than zero point 0.1. Okay, so these are the contents which I am going to cover. Let us see how the heat transfer takes place in large bodies with the Biot number greater than zero point 0.1. Why to use graphical method or what we call Hissler's chart for cases where Biot number is greater than zero point 0.1. Then I will throw a light on using data handbook, especially the Hissler charts which is available in our data handbook and how to use it. And finally, a very small topic on semi-infinite solids. It means the Biot number tends to become infinity. How to solve such problems. So these are the content which will be covered. Let us go to the introduction. Okay, so we have already studied about lumped heat analysis and where the Biot number is less than 0.1, and it is generally applicable for relatively smaller bodies with a very high thermal conductivity. Such bodies behaves like a lump where the temperature varies uniformly throughout the body and it changes only with respect to time, and this temperature is function of only time. So in this section we will consider variation of temperature with time and position in one-dimensional problems like large plane walls, long cylinder and spheres. So here we will consider large bodies like the thick wall, okay, large cylinder and sphere, where the temperature will vary with respect to position and time. So let us consider this sketch which shows the simple geometries where heat transfer is one dimensional. Okay, so here if you see properly, if you see a large plane wall with the very high thickness, okay, long cylinder and large sphere, they are exposed to a convection medium that is surrounded by a fluid which has a temperature T infinity on either side. Okay, cylinder also subjected to convection having temperature T infinity and heat transfer coefficient H on either side. Sphere also subjected to same convection. So when they are surrounded by a convection medium of temperature T infinity, let us take initial temperature is Ti. Initial temperature is Ti. Then the heat transfer will be generally one dimensional. Okay, and the heat transfer always takes place from the center plane or from the axis to the surface. Okay, so here you can observe heat transfer doesn't take place from one surface to the other surface because temperature on either end is same. So here heat transfer takes place from the center plane to the surrounding. Therefore every solid geometry here behaves like a symmetric geometry. Okay, they are geometrically symmetric and thermally symmetric, so the temperature variation on either side of the axis will be same. That is explained better in another sketch which is shown here. Okay, now consider the plane wall which is initially at temperature Ti, surrounded by a convective medium having heat transfer coefficient H and T infinity. So temperature on either side is T infinity. Okay, let us take Ti is the initial temperature. The first line represents Ti. The entire solid is in temperature Ti at time T equal to 0. That is the first line. Let us consider this last line as T infinity, surrounding temperature. We make assumption here that initial temperature is greater than T infinity. Okay, so at T equal to 0, the entire solid is in temperature Ti. Now at T is equal to T1, when it is exposed to a convective medium, suddenly the temperature drops to T infinity on either side, only at the surface. But at the midplane temperature is relatively higher, and near the axis temperature is still at Ti. Now at T is equal to T2, the temperature at the midplane further drops. The center it is Ti, but at the surface it is T infinity, but in between center line and surface the temperature is tending to drop. that is shown by this line. Now at T is equal to T3, the temperature at the center also drops, even at the sides also it drops, but at the either end temperature is T infinity, and the entire body will reach the surrounding temperature T infinity when time tends to become infinite. That is what exponential variation we have seen. Now if you see this sketch geometry, the temperature profile is symmetric with respect to axis. Therefore the temperature variation we consider along the x direction, and x starts from axis x equal to 0 at the center, and at the surface x is considered as L. So L represent half of the thickness of the medium. The entire temperature distribution what is shown is same for a long cylinder and sphere also. Since it behaves like a thermal symmetry, the variation in only one half is sufficient to find, so other half will be same. Okay, so this is how the temperature varies, and what you can observe, or when you compare with the lumped heat analysis, what you can observe is temperature gradient exists. So temperature is not constant throughout the body, therefore there is a internal resistance for conduction, therefore Biot number cannot be less than 0.1 or 0. Okay, so thermal symmetry is achieved, hence temperature is function of both x comma t, and Biot number is greater than 0.1. Okay, this is a very important observation. This graph you have to remember. Now let us further proceed how to solve such cases or such problems where temperature is function of both space and time. Okay, now before we go to the Heisler chart, you should know why Heisler chart has been used. Now for the previous example what I have shown, it is a one-dimensional heat transfer subjected to unsteady state heat conduction. Okay, so the governing differential equation for one-dimensional unsteady state heat transfer is given by this equation: d square T by dx square equal to 1 by alpha into dt by dt. Okay, now if you have to solve this differential equation, we can see it is a second order equation in space, that is x, and first order equation in time. You need one initial condition, that is at time t equal to 0, t is equal to ti, and you require two boundary condition, one at x equal to 0, that is at the mid plane. At the mid plane it behaves like a insulated wall, there is no heat flow at the mid plane, heat doesn't cross the center of the axis, therefore it behaves like an insulated wall, so dt by dx is 0. If you see at the axis, the slope of the temperature versus length line, temperature distribution line is 0, that's why dt by dx equal to 0. On either end at x equal to plus or minus L, heat entering by conduction is equal to heat leaving by convection. This is the boundary condition. Now if you have to solve this equation, okay, the solution what you get generally involves an infinite series. Such infinite series is not easy to solve, it is a time consuming and it is inconvenient to evaluate. Also there are a lot of parameters involved in solving the above equation, like x, heat transfer coefficient k, different temperatures, thickness, time and thermal diffusivity. So in order to reduce the number of variables, generally we go with the dimensional analysis. In the dimensional analysis applied, we can reduce the number of variables into 4 dimensionless term, and these are: one is dimensionless temperature, we call theta of x comma t, it is given by T of x comma t, temperature at any space and time, minus T infinity by Ti minus T infinity. Dimensionless distance, Biot number and Fourier number. So these are the 4 dimensions number we get. Now it is easy to plot the variation of each variable. There are only 4 variables. Okay, so in order to give the solution for this differential equation, we use a method called one term approximation method, which is easy to simplify, and all these relations are plotted in graphical form, which is called as Heisler chart. Okay, actually this Heisler chart was introduced by M.P. Heisler in 1947. Later it was supplemented in 1961 with the transient heat transfer chart by H. Grober. Okay, so therefore it is also called Heisler and Grober chart. right? Now we will see, we will explore what is there in the Hissler chart. So in order to find temperature at any x comma t, there are three graphs used for each solid. Okay, the first graph will give you, the first chart will give you temperature at any temperature at the center of the slab, that is t of 0 comma t for a given time. It is called temperature time history graph at mid plane. Second graph will give you temperature at any x using temperature time history graph at any position x. And third graph will give you heat flow rate, the total heat flow during the given time, which is based on Qmax. We will see what is this. Okay. Now let us go to the use of data handbook. Please open the data handbook, everyone, and please check the corresponding page number which I am going to explain. Okay. Now the first one is infinite plate. Please go to the page number 64 in the data handbook. The new data handbook may be a little different. You have the first column which shows the infinite plate. Okay. Now the infinite plate, the thickness, total thickness is 2L. L represent half of the thickness surrounded by h comma t infinity. Okay. Now this is valid for Biot number. Actually it should be Biot number, not Fourier number, greater than 0.1. Dimensionless position x by L. First we have to find out center plane temperature at any given time t, that is at this point. Okay, here we use the first graph. This is called time history at mid plane graph. I will explain in the later slide. You can see in the x-axis we have Fourier number, here we have temperature ratio, and these lines are for different values of Biot number. Okay, see the notation here. Biot number is HL by K, Fourier number alpha t by L square, and T naught represents center plane temperature. Ti is initial, T infinity is fluid temperature, Tx by L is temperature of the plane at any x, and Ts represent temperature at the surface. At surface x by L is always equal to 1. Now let us go to each of the graph. So the first graph, if you see here, time history at any mid plane, you will get, if you know what is the value of Fourier number and what is the value of Biot number for a given line, you will get temperature, that is T naught, temperature at the mid plane, if you know T infinity and Ti. This is the first graph. Okay, see, this is a semi-log graph and the variation is not uniform here. Okay, we have to identify each of these lines, 2, 3, 4, 8, 6 and 10. We will see that later. So once you know what is the center temperature, second you can find out temperature at any x. Okay, using the second graph, temperature time history at any position x. Here Fourier number is alpha t by LC square, and this is dependent on x by L value. So here at the surface x by L is equal to 1. This is the surface, and at the center x equal to 0. So this is the topmost line, represent center line, x equal to 0. So once you know what is the Fourier number and x by L, you can find out what is the temperature at x. So therefore the dimensionless position temperature referred to the center line is given by this ratio, which is in the page number 67. Now the third graph for infinite plate is heat flow. So here, if you know what is the Biot number and Fourier number, Bi square into F naught, for the different values of the Biot number, okay, you will get the ratio called Q by Q naught. What is this Q naught? So Q naught represent the total heat capacity of the body, which is given by this formula. It is there in the data handbook. Once you know Q by Q naught you calculate, Q you can identify, you can measure. So these are the three graphs for every type of solid. This is for infinite plate. Now we will go to the long cylinder. Similar, just like infinite plate, for a long cylinder, see, this is the sketch given. Here length of the cylinder is not mentioned, it is very much long, and here the Biot number is given by HR naught by G. Fourier number is given by alpha t by R square. Refer page number 69 for center plane temperature. So this is the 69th page. This graph you will get. Same thing, Fourier number, Biot number, you will get center plane temperature. Next, page number 70 you refer, you will get temperature at any position x. And finally find out temperature, heat flow using the third graph. Okay. So similarly we have for the large sphere, in the same way the radius is given. Page number 72, if you go, you will get the first graph, temperature at center plane. Page number 73 you have the temperature at any position x, and 74 you have heat flow or heat transfer rate. So this is how we can use the Heisler chart to measure temperature at any distance x and at any given time. Okay, yes. Now we will go to the last topic in this transient heat conduction, that is semi-infinite solids, okay, where Biot number tends to become infinity. What is that? We will see. A semi-infinite solid is an idealized body that has single plane surface and extends to infinity in all the direction. Okay, best example is Earth surface. See, whenever the atmosphere of the Earth surface, its temperature changes, okay, the Earth surface temperature also will change, but that variation in temperature is visible only up to certain depth. Okay, beyond that depth, any changes in the surrounding temperature will not have effect on the inner temperature of the Earth surface, and we cannot consider the thickness of the Earth surface, it is too large. So any solid bodies with the very high thickness, will behave like a semi-infinite solid. Okay, since the thickness is very high, L tends to infinity, Biot number is HLC by K, so Biot number also tends to become infinite. So this is an figure which is shown here. This is a solid surface and its temperature is T naught. Okay, Ti is the initial temperature of the body. Suddenly there is a heat flow or the temperature varies, then temperature at the depth also will vary. So this is the x direction. Now if I have to find temperature at any point x comma t, it is very easy. Here, go to the data handbook, we have what is called semi-infinite solid. Here we use one equation called error function or Gaussian elimination equation. Temperature at any x, Tx minus T naught by Ti minus T naught, is given by error function x by 2 alpha t. What is this Tx? Tx represent temperature at a distance x from the surface and at time t. If you want to measure temperature at any depth and at any given time, use this equation. So Tx is temperature at distance x and time t. T naught is the surface temperature. Ti is initial temperature, and alpha t is time. Alpha is thermal diffusivity. X is the depth. Alpha is thermal. T is the time. Okay. This error function, if you find out, you can get what is the temperature at x, and Q naught and Qx is given. You can find out heat flux, what is the heat flux at any location, and heat flux at any depth, and also total heat flow. Now what is the error function, how to obtain, that is given by this chart in the data handbook, page number 60. For different values of z, the corresponding error function is given. Here z is given by 2 by square root of alpha into t, x by rho of alpha into t. If you know what is the value of z, corresponding error function you can find, or if you know what is the error function, corresponding z you can find. This is called semi-infinite solids. So Earth surface is a very good example. Correspondingly, we have other examples like very thick slabs, which is used in heat treatment, which can be considered as semi-infinite solids. So with this we have come to the end of this session. Therefore, all large bodies like plane wall, large cylinder and sphere, during conduction heat transfer, they are subjected to change in temperature with respect to position and time, and Biot number will be greater. It means internal resistance is not negligible. There is a temperature gradient, therefore Biot number will be greater than 0.1 in such large bodies. Okay, so temperature is function of x comma t, and to find out temperature at any position x comma t, we use Heisler chart. And for still larger bodies, very large bodies, we call it as semi-infinite solids. The thickness is very high, therefore Biot number tends to infinity. Such problem can be solved by using Gauss elimination method. Okay, so thank you for listening. So next class we will solve problems based on these topics.